So you want to move to Panama? Well, this video will give you some tips for the immigration process and provide examples from what I learned while getting my temporary residency in Panama, all in an effort to try and save you some potential frustration. My experience will be showcased as I navigate the process for the Friendly Nations visa, but the tips given in this video can be applied for other residency visas as well. Welcome to Abroad Ability and welcome to your journey to Panama. In this video, we will discuss tips for ordering a copy of your birth certificate, obtaining your FBI report, getting documents notarized, using a Panamanian consulate for document authentication, opening a Panamanian bank account, visiting immigration in Panama, and more.
Disclaimer: we are not immigration lawyers, immigration consultants, or immigration specialists. The contents of this channel and this video are for informational purposes only, and it is not intended to be a substitute for your own due diligence or for legal advice.
After picking Panama as a country to move to, I started to gather the required documents for the immigration process. The required documents can vary for the specific visa you're trying to obtain, so consult with your immigration attorney accordingly. I started with ordering a copy of my birth certificate. While I did not need this for Panama's Friendly Nations visa, I felt better having a copy of it on hand. If you need your birth certificate, order it now, like right now. Did you order it yet? It took me 3 months during the pandemic to obtain mine because I was born in one of the hot spots, and the health department that was issuing death certificates was the same one that issued birth certificates. It's better just to have certain documents before you need them. There are various ways for you to obtain your FBI report. I chose to use an approved FBI Chandler service for this requirement. Please note, at the time of this recording, your FBI report must be issued no more than 3 to 6 months, depending on your nationality, of it being presented to immigration in Panama. I filled out the required information on the website, paid the fee, and was given a time frame and a QR code that would be used during my fingerprint appointment. I paid for a portal pickup, which was emailed, and 2-day priority delivery for official copies. Okay, so I'm at an approved Chandler to get my fingerprints taken for the FBI report that's required for the application process. Let's go. At the approved fingerprinting location, I needed to present 2 forms of ID, a utility bill, or a voter registration card to verify my identity. I scanned my QR code, verified it was me, and gave my date of birth. Next was the fingerprinting process. You start out scanning your 4 fingers and then your thumb for each hand. This part wasn't too bad. Just make sure you roll your thumb properly and don't smudge your print when taking your thumb off the machine. Taking the individual fingerprints proved to be a challenge for me. Here's a tip. Ensure that you're applying enough pressure for the machine to read your prints accordingly. I had to apply more pressure by using my other hand and by standing up at some point. After several attempts and cursing myself out in my head, the person assisting me said that it had taken some people up to an hour to complete this process. I can see why. In all, this was fairly easy despite my smudging and pressure struggles. I received an email at 2:29 p.m. stating that they had received my fingerprints, another email at 2:50 p.m. stating that my fingerprints have been submitted, and then I received my email with my FBI report at 3:16 p.m. The next step that I took involved making color copies of everything that I had, which included the front and back side of my driver's license. I was able to get the required 8 passport-sized photos done at the copy store. Please check that they actually give you 8 photos and not 2 like they're used to issuing. I left the store without confirming the number of photos and had to return to get the remaining 6. You can get the passport-sized photos taken in Panama, but I felt better getting everything that I could do in the United States before arriving in Panama. So, my bank won't notarize all the paperwork I just got copies for because there wasn't a little space for them to do their notary thing. So, I have to try and find another notary. Yay! So I went to the UPS store, not sponsored, which is also where I had my fingerprints taken, and they were able to notarize all the paperwork for me. I then went back to the copy store and made copies of the notarized papers. I mailed all my paperwork overnight to the Panamanian consulate for authentication, as well as including a money order for the paperwork fees and for them to send my package directly to my immigration attorney in Panama. The consulate took around 3 days to authenticate my paperwork. They let me know when they were completed and the day that they mailed my package to Panama. My attorney let me know when they received my paperwork, which was on April 11th. Yay! I booked my trip for Panama for May 24th and let my attorney know the dates that I would be in Panama. On May 20th, 4 days before I left for my trip, Panama announced that they were changing the requirements for the Friendly Nations visa starting on August 5th. Wait, what? Let's just say I'm glad that I started the process when I did. Off to Panama I go. Good morning from Panama City. I'm so excited. I'm meeting with my immigration attorney for the second time to start the immigration process. Let's see how it goes. I made an appointment with my immigration attorney on Wednesday, 2 days after I arrived in Panama City. It was set for 9 a.m. and I arrived at 8:30 because I like to be early and I was a bit nervous. My attorney was already there and took me into his office at that time. We went over the immigration process. My attorney wrote a letter to a bank to let them know that I was in the immigration process. We went to the bank to open up my account. I showed them 2 forms of ID, my previous tax returns, and filled out all the required paperwork. Easy peasy. Well, that was until the bank representative said that my signature did not match the one on my passport. I felt like I spent 20 minutes practicing how to match my signature on my passport, which I signed over 6 years ago, by the way. An entire practice page later, I was able to perfectly match the first initial of my first name and the last initial of my last name. Woohoo! The next step was handing over my passport to my attorney. Okay, it's kind of strange handing over your passport when you're in another country, but it's part of the immigration process, so here we go. 48 hours later, my attorney informed me that they're filing my paperwork on Monday and we will be going to immigration on Tuesday. I was told to meet them at his office at 8:30 a.m. Tuesday morning before heading to immigration. Needless to say, I didn't sleep well that night. My attorney dropped me off at the front to park his car, and they ushered me in to sit down. There's an organized chaos in here. My attorney found me and had a number in his hand. We sat there looking at a screen waiting for the number to show up. After a few minutes, my number was called, and we went to the photograph area. I'm pretty sure that he just took my favorite mugshot. He did not say 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3. Great, I can't wait to see what this looks like. About 6 minutes later, my card was ready and I'm officially a temporary resident in Panama. Woohoo! My attorney then submitted my passport to get the multi-entry stamp. If you do not get this stamp, it can cost you thousands of dollars if you leave the country during the immigration process. Getting your passport back will only take a few days. Now, all I have to do is wait for Panama's immigration to do their due diligence for permanent residency, which should take around 3 to 6 months. Stay tuned. Here are some more tips to help you along with your residency process. When you get your temporary residency card, make sure everything is spelled correctly and matches the information on your passport. Some attorneys cost more than others. Some have hidden costs. Just make sure you get an itemized quote if you're doing cost comparisons. Please dress accordingly for the immigration process or you could be sent home. Don't wear shorts, cut-off shorts, or t-shirts or any footwear that shows toes. Make color copies of your documents. And, as mentioned earlier on in this video, make sure you can sign your signature as close as possible to your passport. And don't forget to breathe. I hope this helps. Panama's waiting for you.